Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to the sit down. This is episode 9.3 with my man Carlos. And this time we really are going to talk about kind of business, the stock market, all that cryptocurrency, all that kind of stuff. And what we're really going to do is, because I'm no expert, I'm learning. Same as Carlos.
I'm no expert either. I'm still learning too.
But one of the things that I thought was interesting was that Carlos, like I had preferenced in the first video, Carlos is really one of the first people that really sort of asked me some business-minded questions, right? You really started to kind of get the train rolling for me.
Okay.
And one of the questions that really stuck out to me was you had actually asked me early on when I was 22.
Yeah.
You asked me, hey, are you paying yourself first?
Pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first, right?
Yeah.
And what I want to ask you, Carlos, is when did you sort of get that business mindset? I know you had worked in finance previously. Yeah. Was that one of the contributing factors? Like, for you, what was one of the things that really sort of opened your mind up to that lifestyle, right? Because it is a lifestyle.
Right. It's a train of thought.
Right.
And besides working in finance, that was more like on the job training and stuff. But I just looked back and I said, all right, which person my age is doing good, better, well off, And the common denominator was that every person that was back then in their 20s, early 30s, and they were pretty much well off or doing above average, had that one common denominator that they all started working for themselves. It takes some courage, some balls, excuse my English.
You're good.
But when you go work for yourself, when you start a business, there's no ceiling. You can take it from small and blow it up to
X,
infinite amount,
right?
So that was a common denominator, and I seen these people, and I was like, all right, I need to talk to that guy, and I just started hanging out with certain people that thought differently, and one of the things they said to me was just you gotta pay yourself first, you gotta invest, you gotta be debt free, and you gotta open up your own business, and that was the basic blueprint.
You want to know something that's funny? I don't know if you remember this. You remember you because I have at work, we have laptops that we use, right?
Yeah.
And on my laptop, you remember I have all those sticky notes on my laptop?
Yep.
And on one of the sticky notes on my laptop, it says debt free by 40. You wrote.
Yep.
And then I crossed that out and I said 30.
Oh yeah, I put 40.
Yeah. And then I crossed it out and I wrote 30.
Yeah, 30.
Right.
I like that.
And bro, I like it too, right? Because that's a constant reminder. What am I trying to accomplish in X amount of time?
And the first step to becoming financially free is becoming debt free, because debt is just like a ball and chain in your ankle that holds you back. You make $100, you gotta pay $50,
right?
And then you left with $50, you got $30 for living expenses, and you got $20 for yourself if you decide to pay yourself first. So that was the common denominator. And I started reading a lot of books. I see Colin got Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. That's a great book, by the way. I started doing a lot of reading. I'm a big Robert Kiyosaki fan. You heard of him?
Yep. Business of the 21st century. Come on, man.
So Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Changed my life.
Oof.
Rich Dad Poor Dad is
if y'all haven't read that book, please read that book.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Because that will blow your mind. Anything by Robert Kiyosaki, period.
Rich Dad
That'll
Poor
change
Dad.
your life.
It'll change your whole mindset.
Yes.
And there's a part 2 called the cash flow quadrant.
Oh.
You read that one?
Oh yeah, come on.
Good. So it basically
ESBI? Come on, baby.
So it basically breaks down the 4 categories for how people earn money, whether it's the employee, self-employed,
business owner, or investor.
So you're trying to move from one side to the other. And the people on the right side of the cash flow quadrant were the ones that I've seen as in my 20s that were doing better than anyone else.
And to clarify, the right side means business owners and investors.
Business owners, investors.
The left side will be employees or self-employed.
Self-employed, correct. And then I found people I have a few friends that are doing really well,
Right.
And I've seen them. One guy I know, he back in the day he was working as a teller at Washington Mutual.
Sure.
Now he's worth a couple mil, and he went and started his own business. He started meal prepping. He said he's a big guy, he's not a bodybuilder, but he's
he's all jacked up, right?
Pretty shredded. So he's I want to make my own meals, but I can find somebody that could do that for me. So I'm sure there's more people that feel like me. So why don't I make meals for other people? So he started his own meal prepping business.
Nice.
So he started doing a meal delivery business. and he started growing and growing and growing, and he's got other ventures now. He started like doing home flipping, he'll buy houses, fix them up, sell them. So he has the entrepreneurial business mind, and that's a skill set. Being able to build a business from 0 to 100, it's a skill set. You could fail 6 out of 10 times, but those 4 times, multiply, do it again and again and again. That's how you learn. You roll with the punches. So it was just like getting inspiration from those type of people that was just like, wow, how am I going to take where I'm at? What do I got to do to take it to the next level?
Yes.
And reading a lot like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant. There's another book called The Richest Man in Babylon. I really like.
I got that one. Yep, got it.
Think and Grow Rich is a great book. And I just like, I'm a little older now. I don't do what I used to do in my 20s, like turn up every weekend and shit. Like now I just like do a lot of research. I do a lot of reading. I try to stay up with current events, whether it's politics, stock market, electrical vehicle revolution. I just try to like look 5-10 years ahead.
Yeah.
Like 5-10 years before, if you want to research Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, the FANG stocks would have invested 10 years ago, you would have been really well off right now.
Yeah.
So I'm in that state right now where I'm researching what are the next FANGs,
right? What's
going to happen in 5 years, in 10 years. And that's where I'm at. I do a lot of reading. I have subscriptions to a few newsletters. I talk to people that are in the game that they've made money in the stock market, trading options, trading cryptocurrencies. And it's just I've got more than my feet right now. I'm pretty well in, but it's just a learning process.
You're in there.
Yeah.
And, I think the one thing you would say, Carlos, that's really important for I hope everybody at home that's listening to understand is that it took, and correct me if I'm wrong, Carlos, but it took a decision, right, to become educated, right, and to put yourself around the right people.
Correct.
Right? Anybody who's successful in life, and I'm taking this strictly off the stuff that I've read, and this is a common denominator, like Carlos has said. A common denominator with everything that I've read, whether it be Think and Grow Rich, or How to Have Conversations and Deal with People, Acres of Diamonds, The Magic of Thinking Big, all these kinds of books, Robert Kiyosaki, The Business of the 21st Century, all this stuff, they all talk about putting yourself around the people that you want to be like.
Yeah.
Right? If you put yourself around people that aren't doing anything in life, you're going to be the same thing.
Correct.
You have to put yourself around people you want to resemble.
And I was talking to my boy, one of my best friends, him and his partner are doing really well. They have a men grooming business that's distributed in over 40 countries right now.
That's huge.
And the dude that started it used to cut hair in his basement. So sky's the limit.
That's it.
So I was talking to him yesterday, and he was, basically, time is a luxury. Time is luxury.
Yeah.
We all have the same 24 hours. How you going to spend them is up to you. But time is luxury. And if you spend your time researching, educating yourself, talking to the right people that are doing the same, if not better than you, then you're going to absorb from that energy, and you're going to push yourself to take it to the next level.
Exactly. And and I think one of the things too, in order to put yourself around people that are doing better than you, you have to not have an ego. You understand that, hey, these people are doing better than me. Let me get myself around them.
Exactly.
Because I want what they have.
And I've literally called. I've called well, he's a friend of mine, but I've seen his journey, and he's doing really well off right now. I called him. I say, hey, is it alright if I come through your house one day just to chat and maybe get a few tips from you? He's like, of course, come through. He lives in Port St. Lucie, by the way. I'll drive all the way to Port St. Lucie just spend a day with him from 9 to 5. That info, bro. Just remember, going to school. Going to school is not where you're gonna get all your education from. You might be book smart, but you gotta push yourself to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you. You create something, get a patent, and as you get your following, you can talk about therapy and you can push your product. Bro, you have 500 people. Let's say you sell that product for $50 a pop. 50 people buy it. That's $250.
Right. Yep.
And that's how you bridge the gap from employee to self-employed entrepreneur.
And that's something too. I think when it comes to business,
because this is catching steam. This is picking up.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can take it, there's no ceiling.
And that's the thing too, in order to be, an entrepreneur, in order to be somebody that has this sort of mindset, you have to have a vision, right? Because in order to be an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to jump into the deep end without having a floaty, right? But when you jump into that deep end, you need to have a vision for what it's going to achieve, what it's going to result for you. That's the thing with a lot of entrepreneurs, everybody who's got to somewhere in life, they started something with the vision of what the end result is going to look like, and they just chase that. They chase that. They don't need a safety valve. They don't need a back door to get out. I think a lot of days people, they go into something having a back door, and when you have a back door, when you have an escape plan, you never put all of your effort into plan A.
Correct.
Because you're always leaning on the back door.
Because there's always that exit.
Right. If things get hard, I'm just going to bail.
Nah.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yep. You have to roll through the punches. Yep.
And, Carlos, let's dive into the stock market.
Okay.
Because I'm personally not in it yet. I want to be. I'm going to be one day.
Yep.
But like you had said, right now my biggest focus is let me pay myself, right? Let me build, certain things. Let me build my 401k. Let me build my savings. Let me get myself really strong. The stock market is something that I'm going to pursue in the future.
Right.
But right now, at this particular moment, that's not where I'm at. Because for me, my focus is let me build a 401k, right? Let me build a ghost savings account, right? And pretty much what I mean by ghost, right? And it's funny, one of my pages actually educated me on this.
A what?
A ghost savings account. So what that means is that
I don't know what that means.
you have your primary savings account, you have a second savings account, right? You pay yourself a little bit here, you pay yourself a little bit there.
Yep.
You don't touch this. This doesn't exist. This never gets looked at. This is a ghost savings account.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting, let's say, for example, 400 here, 400 here. You're doing your 400 here, 400 here. This 400 just continues to grow, to compound. X,
Long term.
Y, Z, right?
Yeah.
Because whatever you put into your regular, you put into your ghost. Regular, ghost. They're one at the hip. But the only thing is that your savings account, that's your emergency resource.
Rainy day fund.
God forbid something were to happen, you need to tap into something, you have your savings account. But that ghost savings account never gets touched.
All right, so what you just mentioned right now, you're talking about your rainy day fund, which rule of thumb says in your rainy day fund you should have 6 months of expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever your bills are for the month, you multiply that by 6, and that's what you're supposed to have in your rainy day fund. God forbid you lose your job, you get laid off, through COVID you can't work, the bills are still getting paid for 6 months. That's your rainy day fund. You don't touch that. Now, as far as your long-term savings account, if you want to plan for like retirement, that's long-term, You just add to it every month, set it and forget it. There's different ways to approach it. For example, I do a lot of ETFs for long-term, and whether they're up and low, up and high, high and low, I add the same amount every month.
No, ETF, what does that mean?
That's an exchange traded fund, meaning it's a basket of stocks.
Gotcha.
Okay? It's not just one cup, it's like 10 cups.
Right.
And you can go into different areas.
Different avenues, right. Okay.
It could be into whether it's energy, whether it's electric vehicles, whether it's planes, whether it's tech. There's ETFs for everything. We have a bunch of stocks into a fund. Now you add into that every month, and you say, well, what if it's slow? Great, if it's slow, you add more into it because it's cheaper. Well, what if it's going up? Great, you add into it because it's going up. So this volatility means things are going up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So when things are high, you add more to it, it's going to go higher. When things are low, you add more to it, you get a cheaper price. If you keep adding that same amount to a good fund, over time it's going to grow. Right now you get dividend. If it pays dividends, great, because you're getting a dividend back to your nest egg,
right?
To your nest
exactly.
egg.
Yep.
And at the same time you're getting growth. So not only are you getting compound interest, you're also getting growth. So the long term is just going like this. You want your long-term nest egg to look like a staircase and not like an EKG. Constantly growing, and you don't touch that.
Right.
Unless it's like a life or death situation, you don't touch it. That's long term. And that's where I'm at right now. I do I have different accounts. I have my long term ETF. I do like individual stocks. I'm big into like innovation right now. I'm big into the electric vehicle revolution. I'm big into 5G. I'm big into artificial intelligence. Things that are like I'm forecasting 5-10 years from now.
Sure.
That are like, look at Tesla. Tesla is about to open a super factory in Austin, Texas. They have a huge factory in China. They've got another one in Germany. Elon Musk, he is that guy. He's gonna distribute electric vehicles to the whole world. You know, so Tesla's long term for me. I'm just adding a little bit more every month. Tesla's not going anywhere. It's just going up. So that's just long term, right? And then I also have my rainy day fund that me and my wife Lily we put together. God forbid, you know, she has like the traditional job. I have like the self-employed, so we get benefits through her. I'm like the freelance guy. The potential for more money making is high, but I could be out of work for a month.
Right.
So we have a rainy day fund for 6 months. We don't touch it. If we can't pay the bills and we don't want to tap into the investments because they're growing, we tap into the rainy day fund. What else? As far as trading, I have a small trading account, short-term trading. I want to make some money. This is my side gig. Besides physical therapy, I like to buy stocks. I like to sell them in 3 to 6 to 9 months to make a profit. That's something else I do on the side. I research. I look at the company, I look at earnings, I look at all that. You know, buy low, sell high. That's another skill set that you need to like research. You always got to do your research. You always got to do your homework.
Yep.
And you make your money not when you sell, but when you buy. Your entry point is very important. As far as cryptocurrencies go, that's also long term, but I also play a lot with penny cryptos. Penny cryptos are cryptocurrencies that trade for under $1, and those have the potential to explode like 5, 10, 20 baggers. Me and my friends we started like in 2016, and those were the ones that were probably the biggest gainers. Let's say you get like a penny crypto that's trading real cheap, like 20 cents. Like I'll give you an example. We did in 2017. Ripple was a common one. 20 cents. You buy X amount. At its peak in 2017, it went to like $2.30. So that was a 10 bagger. You made 10 times your money.
Right.
$1,000 in Ripple, you made $10,000. That's something that for us was trading. So there's different avenues. You can go long. You can go short. You have to have your rainy day fund. That's the first thing you have to do. Before you get into all this trading and all this investing for the long term, you always got to build your rainy day fund. Because the work's not guaranteed.
Right.
And when you're doing real good, when you're like killing it, yeah, I'm 50 hours a week, you know, I'm top of the world, don't get too cocky, don't get too euphoric, because shit could hit the fan. So that's where you got to pay yourself first, put money aside, invest.
And that's the thing I think a lot of people get confused, right?
Yeah.
They make a little bit of money and they instantly think, all right, I need to try to get busy with that money. Nah, bro. What you need to do is get busy with your savings account.
Correct.
Because again, your savings account is another form of paying yourself, right?
Correct.
As much as, you know, investments, you know, trading, stocks, that's all a form of paying yourself too, but it's not immediate, right?
Right.
And there's a gamble there, right? Putting stuff into your savings account, that's your rainy day fund. That should be the stuff that's mostly untouchable outside of a tragedy.
Right.
Right, and that's why for me, you know, I'm building that kind of ghost savings account,
Good.
Right? Because in
Remember, 6 months,
right?
whatever
one day,
your bills, your rent, your car payment,
all
everything,
of it.
you got add all that, multiply that by 6. That's your rainy day fund.
Yep. And then that's why, you know, for me, I'm building that ghost savings account, right? Because for me, this is the stuff that's apparent. This is not apparent. But once I get this taken care of, I'm gonna have equal amount here.
Right.
Now I can go get busy with this.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So that's my whole concept behind that. You know, I'm preparing myself for that world once I'm adequately equipped here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because this is gonna resemble this. It's just this doesn't exist to me right now.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
So that's my way. Right. So that's my way of kind of preparing myself for that future of investing, doing different things, right? Expanding my forms of income.
Right.
Right, because as you know, right,
and set goals too. I like what's his name? You had a fellow here, older gentleman, Bernie.
Bernie, yep.
I listened to his stuff.
Good
he was speaking some gems right there. So the 10-10 rule, you know, what do you want to be in 10 days, in 10 months, in
10 years.
That's sunk in. So
Huge.
set yourself a plan, set yourself goals, and then execute. You know, because you know, anybody could say, "Oh yeah, I'm in the stock market," and I ask them, "All right, what's your plan to make money?" It's like,
What does that mean?
arthritis.
Right.
To me, that means arthritis.
Right.
You know. So, all right, you want to make money? How much money are you trying to make? Is it for 6 months? Is it for a year? Are you trying to make 20%? Are you trying to make 50%? Are you trying to make 100%? What's your plan? What's
Right.
your 5-month, year, 5-year, 10-year? What's your plan? I don't want to hear about I want to make money. What's your plan? How are you going to do it? And that's very important.
Very.
If you don't have a plan for investing for business, you might as well just
dead. Right.
might as well go to the Hard Rock in Fort Lauderdale. You know, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Hollywood, yeah.
Hollywood.
Yeah. You're good.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Hard
Yeah,
Rock.
you know, it's so true, you know, because that's, you know, being an entrepreneur.
Sorry, bro, the crown's kicking in right now.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn to Jada.
Yeah.
Jada and Fab.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But no, you know,
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur, being a
Yeah.
businessman, what it takes more work preparing than it does take work to execute.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to plan. They just want to try to execute.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of people get misconstrued. You know, to be a businessman, to be an entrepreneur, to do something for yourself, the plan has to be solid. It has to
It
be
has to.
vivid. It has to be understandable to the masses.
Correct.
But it has to be specific enough to the point where only you can execute said plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then people just don't want to do it.
Right.
They just don't want to do that.
It takes a lot of discipline. A lot of discipline. I'll tell you right now, for example, if you were to say, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to start my own business, do you have that discipline to wake up at 8 in the morning every day and give it 100% every day and try to like increase, let's say, sales for a month, every month for the next 10 months? You know, it takes some serious discipline to be a business owner, entrepreneur. I know what it's gonna do for you. You gotta want it.
Yes.
You gotta want it from your gut.
And that's the thing. What's so interesting about it, it's a battle between you and you. You know, a lot of other things is a battle against something, right? When you're an entrepreneur, when you're a businessman, when you're pursuing something for yourself, it's a battle between you and you.
Of course.
And that's the hardest battle to fight, because when at the end of the day, when it comes time to blame somebody for a fault, you blame yourself. When it's time to pat yourself on the back, you're able to do that no problem, right? But when stuff hits the fan, you know.
One of my boys, one of my friends, the one that's doing really well off in Port Lucy, I'll never forget this. He always tells me, well, how am I different than anyone else? He goes, is it because I have like a strong order state of mind? Is it because I'm disciplined? And he's like, if I make, if I don't know, lose $5,000, I keep cool. If I make $20,000, I keep cool. I don't go euphoric. I don't get depressed. I just keep on rolling forward. You know, learn from my mistakes, get over it, and move forward. And that's like controlling the emotional part of it too. It's huge. So
Staying steady. Staying steady in an unsteady world. That's what it is. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. You make 5 G's in a week. You're gonna like go crazy. Euphoria is gonna take over. But you're like,
Let's go.
yeah, woo! That's the bottom of a crown, you know?
Right.
But keeping that cool mindset, staying focused. All right, I'm making money. I had a good week. I want to like put back into the business, pay off some debt, pay myself first, move forward. That takes discipline. So
It's huge.
yeah.
But alrighty, y'all. We're gonna cut this one off right here. This is episode 9.3 of the Sit Down. You finally got to the business. Got to the fun stuff. I'm here with my man Carlos, and we're gonna come back with episode 9.4, where Rich can really shoot the stuff. It's gonna be X-rated. It's gonna be it ain't gonna be PG on this one. We're gonna let it fly. But we'll see y'all at 9.4 to Sit Down. Here with my man Carlos. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. And we'll see you on the next one. Alrighty, y'all. You're gonna see a couple boxes in a little circle. So over here, this is gonna be a playlist with a whole bunch of other videos that I posted. If you like what you saw so far from the sit down, you'll be able to keep up with everything right there. Right here is gonna be the video to my previous video. And then right here click that circle there. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell icon to make sure you get all the updates whenever I come out with some new content. I appreciate the support. Let's keep the train going. Here we go.